Surprise isn't really the term I use that much in gaming anymore because I don't really get surprised at what gets released today. It seems like everything is kind of a copy paste of each other, just a sequel or another remix variant of a different game that came out earlier in time. Um, but this game is a surprise because I don't know how the hell I missed this game. This is Excite Truck on the original Wii, not the Wii U. This was a launch title released all the way back in 2006. Um, if you're kind of wondering where the name comes from, the theory is this is the sequel to Excite Bike on the NES, but that's just kind of a loose theory. And this game is a big surprise because I had no idea how good it was. My friend brought it over one day and said, "Hey, let's play this game. I had it since the Wii came out, loved it back then. Why don't you try it?" I did. Thought it was gonna be another one of those cheap, just early or mid 2000s racing games, and I was totally wrong. This is not even close to that. Um, as you can see, you got a whole bunch of cars to choose from different handlings of speed, turbo, air, and grip. I chose this one because I like the air and speed. Well, actually the turbo. And there's a whole bunch of different courses to select. Now, what the thing you have to do with this game is you have to get a certain amount of stars in order to get a certain letter grade for each course. You have a time limit, and you also, well, actually placing doesn't really matter. If you get over 260 stars in place in 6, you can still get an A rating or even an S, which by the way is the best. This is also kind of how it is in games like Crazy Taxi, Daytona USA, all the old school arcade games are like this. But what happens is you get stars for doing certain tricks, or turbo jumps, drifts, tree runs, smashing into the other trucks, and then, even going through rings like I just did there. And it's kind of cool. I like the idea. It's a lot of fun, and it's a challenge too. As you can see, this is a controller and how you use it. You turn it sideways. 2 is to go, 1 is to go reverse or stop. If you hit up on the D-pad, you do a little turbo jump when you're in the air. Actually, holding down up is the turbo. As you can see where the temperature gauge is, you got to keep it below the red. And if you do not, you will overheat and you won't be able to use your turbo. It's kind of another little thing to make the game a little harder, if you will. Now continuing on how the stars work. You get stars, like I said, for doing tricks and stuff. And it's a lot of fun. Also, what will happen is if you place in first, you will get 50 bonus stars. Second, you get 25. Third, you get like 15. Fourth, you get 10. Anything below that, you get like 5, or last place, you get 0. The thing I love about this game the most, I think, and is just a sense of speed you get in this game. It's almost like Sonic the Hedgehog, but better. Yeah, I'm saying that. I'm not the biggest Sonic fan, I'll admit it. I did like Sonic 2. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is pretty damn good, but I've just never been the biggest Sonic fan. But this game really gives you a sense of speed and control, for the most part. The controls can be a little shaky at times, especially, this is a 10-year-old game, and 10-year-old counts, so your control's not going to be the best. But it still is a lot of fun and very manageable. It's a great game, controls are responsive, and just driving around, doing crazy stunts, going in the air is just a hell of a lot of fun. I love the sound effects. They're, those kind of cheesy arcade, sound effects. It has a great lively feel to it. And the music, while yeah, it's, cliche rock music, it fits the time period that this game came from, and in some ways is really the only thing that has aged out of this game. The graphics are great for the time, I think. You got reflections in the water, you got great shadowing and sound effects to go with it. The backgrounds are nice. Just the whole, there's not a lot of popping, and it feels open. It feels lively, and everything is moving. This is a box, by the way. It's, this is kind of what made me think, oh, it's one of those cheap, early, mid 2000s racing games. But no, this was an actual first party Nintendo game. That's right, this was made and licensed by Nintendo, which is great, and why it is actually a good game. Manual actually is in color too, which is pretty neat. Something you don't see anymore actually at all. You don't see manuals in new games, so that's kind of a plus. And I mean, it's a really fun racing game. It's just got a lot of character. You got some cool courses, cool track design. I love the openness of it, and I love the destruction. And just, it's so cool. It's so cool that a game from this time period has so much to offer. Yeah, it's not the biggest. It's not like a Gran Turismo. It's not, Drive Club or frickin' Forza. It's none of that stuff. It's Excite Truck. And in fact, I'm going to admit it, I like this game better than Mario Kart. I do. It's a great, fun, fast game to pick up and play, and I highly recommend it. It's probably pretty cheap. I'm sure there's not a high demand to it. It's got a few different game modes. It's not the biggest game, but I like it. It's got your normal Excite Truck mode. It's got Super Excite Truck, which is kind of harder, and then you got this challenge mode where you got to get these rings. Kind of like Sonic. Well, not really. Not even close, actually. But it's a lot of fun. You got tons of cars to choose from. Each handles so differently, and it kind of adds to the replay value of this game, because just getting that perfect score or trying to beat your record is fun. And also doing it with like different cars or different variants, it's a lot of fun. You also have a multiplayer mode, you versus another player. Not that big of a deal. I prefer taking turns. That's how me and my friend played this game, and we had a blast. This game really was a fun time and kind of takes me back to the simpler days of Nintendo. I wish there was... Well, actually, there was a sequel to this game on the Wii. But, I wish there was a new version on, like, the Wii U or something, because this game is just great. It's a great racing game if you're into that. And even if you aren't into racing games, it's a great party game to sit back and have fun with. Challenge yourself, do all sorts of stuff like that. It's fun, it's great, it's probably pretty cheap, I'm not sure about that, but I really recommend it. And thank you for watching, and have a good day, guys.